Welcome to the Jimmy Jam Sessions podcast. As always, if you enjoy all the content that we've been doing here on our channel, there's the subscribe button down there. It's there. Trust me, it's there. That way you can be alerted for all the new stuff that we do. Our sports takes, food reviews, everything within the world. We do appreciate you. So we're going to do these little segments on here that I'm going to start doing, so my editor does not have to do a whole heck of a lot of anything. So I'm going to go right into basically these hot takes, and everybody in the universe and everybody in the interweb always has their hot takes of what needs to be and what should be and whatever. But sports media has every single side of and every single type, and then us, the regular general public, should always have their own as well. And that's going to include me, and that's what I'm going to be doing. And I did these randomly on the channel, and I will continue to do them on these segments. So with that being in mind, like I sometimes do on Facebook, so I want to get this out of the way about saying that maybe Gary Bettman did something right for once. I don't know if it was his bag or not, but the Four Nations round robin face-off actually was a banger. Let's just put it this way. Over 16 million watched that entire freaking tournament. And most of it was in US and Canada, obviously. But we talk about, the gold medal game was the most watched non-Stanley Cup game in over a decade. I mean, whatever it could possibly be. The final was cinematic. It was television. People wanted to watch it. It was U.S. and Canada, probably the biggest rivalry in probably world hockey. Now, U.S. and Russia were big. Even all those teams that play each other overseas, Sweden and Finland beat the heck out of each other. Sweden and Russia do. Czech and Russia do. Even Slovakia and Latvia, they always have their say. And U.S. always plays Canada hard. Canada and Russia play each other tough. But there is no other big one right now than U.S. and Canada. Went as far as it was a great game, played in Boston. So we got a little bit of both U.S. and Canada viewership, and both countries visited, and they were cool with each other. And it was a good game. It went to overtime, and when you leave Connor McDavid all by himself, yeah, bad things happen. Snapshot, pass Hellebuck, Canada wins. But the bottom line is simply the NHL very well may have figured out what to do during your All-Star week. Very possibly. But the All-Star game has always been a big major thing in sports, and it's always been like that for the last half century. You usually want to see your big time star athletes really, really want to shine in some of the big moments. But in all 5 major North American organizations, I say 5 because I'm including the MLS, they have all kind of become irrelevant. I'll breeze through all of them, and I'll tell you why. They all have been completely non-existent. Now, decades ago, if you were chosen to be an All-Pro, I was All-Star, you wanted to go to the All-Star game. Big things in the Boomers and Gen X, and even early Millennials. You always wanted to make that trip and be like, I want to show off to my team. I want to show off to the All-Star. I want to show off to the fans. This is what you wanted to do. I couldn't wait to be in the All-Star game and do this and that. Now nobody wants to go. The big one out of all this is the NFL. Gen X people will even tell you they would have absolutely killed to have a trip to Hawaii. So what do you do when you are a Pro Bowl selection? You get selected to the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl at the time was in Hawaii. Aloha Stadium. I don't believe it's in existence now. I don't know if it's anything left of it now. However, a trip to Hawaii you would never say no to. Hawaii, of course, is one of the biggest vacation destinations in the world. And it's one of our 50 states. Unfortunately, at this day and age, you're in a Pro Bowl. This might even be late millennials and Gen Z. Nobody wants to go to Hawaii. Nobody wants to pack their stuff. Even if you were in the Super Bowl, before the Super Bowl was fixed to the week before even if the Pro Bowl was fixed toward the 1 week before the Super Bowl, that empty week from the AFC NFC title games, that empty week, they put the Pro Bowl in there. But they put the Pro Bowl in there, and the teams that were in the Super Bowl, those people that represented were not going. So nowadays, nobody wants to go to Hawaii. Said nobody ever. But then it became a safety issue. Nobody wants to get hit. Nobody wants to run full speed. It's nothing but either a score or a tactical game. Nobody wants to get touched. Nobody wants to run full speed. No one wants to tear an ACL. Nobody wants to take a much-needed concussion. And the Pro Bowl became irrelevant. Irrelevant to the point that not only did they move the game from Honolulu all these years to one time in Vegas, and now it's pretty much a regular thing now in Orlando, where they actually have a renovated stadium to play in. But it's now become I don't want to say it's now a flag football game. It's now a skills competition, which is fun for the fans. The fans can fly to Orlando and be like, I want to see the Pro Bowl stuff. I want to see the flag football game. And they do it for the fans, and it's a cool thing. You get a Pro Bowl selection, that's fine. But if you're a team that goes to the Super Bowl and, hey, I went to the Pro Bowl, you're not going. You have another week to prepare for the Super Bowl. So those people get replaced by other people. And the Pro Bowl became, as I said, irrelevant. I mean, you now are officially thankful you are Pro Bowl selection. The NFL might be one of the laughing stocks. The NBA was one of the biggest ones because it used to be East-West. Then it became a pick'em, a team captain pick'em thing. If you were the last one picked, you got a car. The NHL did that at one point. And it's nothing but dunks. It's nothing but three-pointers. Nobody plays defense, and we're waiting for one game that hit 200 points. And sure, it's fun. You get to see people dunk. You get to see your stars dunk. And you get to see new faces. The only two things that are pretty cool in the NBA All-Star Weekend is the Futures game. Maybe the Futures game, the celebrity game may be okay. It's hardly even televised. Maybe if it's streamed, I don't know. And the three-point and the dunk contest is actually laughable now. But the NBA is kind of laughable. Major League Baseball, seriously, the only reason it used to be cool to play the Midsummer Classic, the All-Star game, and now they used to wear their road or home jerseys. Then they're like, okay, we're going to wear these Funkadelic jerseys. Nobody likes them. And the biggest thing is, if you win the All-Star game, you get home field for the World Series, which is so stupid. It's stupid. It's basically to a point where if you are a big market team and you know you're damn good, like the Dodgers, like the Yankees, you're probably telling all those people in your dugout, in your all-star team, guys, you guys know you're playing us. We need to win the world. We need to win this game so that we can have home field advantage. We don't want to go to Houston. We don't want to go to the Bronx. We don't want to go to Houston. We don't want to go to I don't know, Baltimore. We don't want to go to the American League. It's the same thing for the Yankees. We don't want to go to LA. We don't want to go to Philly. We don't want to go to Atlanta for the first two games of the World Series. Just go back to what it was, because the league is already high and low. It's already a more dominated thing anyway, because the Dodgers are the most paid, are the most valuable team, and then right there you get the Mets, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Braves are up there. The most valuable and the highest paid teams are going to get the players anyway, and they're going to. And why in the world would you want to win the All-Star game to have home field? If you have the better record, then you deserve home field advantage, and you're going to play 2-3-2 anyway. Baseball is just a laugh now, and MLS isn't bad. I mean, it's somewhat watchable if you're a soccer fan. But the cool thing was you picked the MLS All Stars, and they have been playing teams that are worldwide, like a Barcelona, a Real Madrid, a Bayern Munich, a PSG possibly, a Roma, an Atletico. You're playing all these people are going to fly over and play you guys, whether you get beat or not. It's a fun match, and they play their butts off for those games because hardly there's a lot of people in America that don't get to see these European teams or a big gigantic team down in Mexico or in a Bundesliga or an English Premier League or a La Liga. The MLS kind of got it right in a way, but NHL, you now have a decision to make because this tournament for 2 weeks was banging. There were people that went and played, and it's not necessarily playing for your divisions, it's playing for your country. Because in 2026, you're going to have the Olympics, and you'll have the Olympic break. Probably 2027, you may bring back the All-Star game, but then you have 2028, and you have the World Cup of Hockey coming back. Now, how are you going to decide this? You should at least bring the All-Star game back somewhat, because it actually was kind of entertaining now, because you played divisions and it became 3-on-3, which means it was nonstop for 10 minutes, nonstop, have a face-off if you score, but it was 3-on-3, and the goalies had to work. And you wanted to see cool things. If you saw cool saves, if you saw cool plays, if you saw cool dangling between the sticks, Michigans, and fake shots like Kucherov does, the NHL All-Star Game actually can rank a little bit higher than everyone else. For real. And it was it was a big prize thing for the division, for whoever won. And same thing, MVP gets a car or whatever, donator. I don't know how they do it. But the NHL, I think right now, as of this second, the NHL All-Star Game is probably the better thing going on after all the All-Star Games. But the NHL may have hit a line drive, triple down the line with the face-off, with the four nations face-off. This was a banging thing. The jerseys were fine. They didn't have to change the jerseys. All it was round robin for 4 teams, and it was just one of the most watched kind of things you saw. It got intense, even in the first game with Canada and Sweden. When that game went to overtime, even when Canada lost to the U.S., but the big thing was 9 seconds in. With the fights in the beginning of that game, it set the tone for the rest. And the rest of the playoff was it. It was that, and they had one other game, and they were watched games from Montreal and Boston. We may have found something. We may have found a crack in the code. So this is like a take of, I don't know what you want to take on All-Star games, but the point fact of the matter is the NHL may have hit a home run on this. A line drive triple, maybe a home run, but how do you schedule it? I don't know how you're going to do it. We know Gary Bettman's not going to be there much longer. He's got a handful of years left before he decides to hang him up as commissioner. There's more things to worry about in the NHL with ratings drop. Your TV deal's a little bit sus. NBCSN was killing it when they had it, but then when the contract ran out, you're having issues with TNT and ESPN with blackouts, and I get Canada's a little bit weird with their blackout situation. The 2 top teams in the league are Winnipeg, and if I'm thinking off the top of my head, it's Washington. Like, Washington's up there. Florida's still good. Tampa's still good. But Winnipeg is your number 1 team in the West. And Dallas and Vegas are still hanging around. But your ratings need to be fixed because you have a weird TV market. But the NHL got back with ESPN on this, and they hit a decent home run with this Four Nations face-off. Guys, did you like the Four Nations tournament? Is it going to be something that we think of down the road? Do we still want to alternate because we still have to do the Olympic break? Should they alternate with the All-Star game? Leave a comment. Hit the like if you like the video. And I thank you for hanging out. We appreciate you. And we'll do this again soon.